Alright, hello citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Niger once again, and before I talk about the main thing I want to talk about in this video, CM Punk? No! Ugh, man, oh man. And now, oh, a lot of people did call it when they saw the CM Punk spot after he got hit with the Future Shock DT. I don't think I noticed, but a lot of people were talking about how CM Punk may have hurt his arm and how how it looked pretty bad, and now it's official. He tore his tricep. So, oh, I guess it's up in the air as to what they want to do. Whether he'll need surgery. Whether he'll miss WrestleMania because of it. I imagine obviously WWE will try everything they can to 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 make sure it doesn't go that route. But if it has to, then man, that really he puts a wrench in the works for the planned CM Punk Seth Rollins match at WrestleMania. So we'll have to wait and see for now. But man, oh man. But that being said, hey, let's switch gears. Let's talk about Gunther. Gunther is currently the Intercontinental Champion, currently the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion, and arguably currently the best Intercontinental Champion. And the reason for that is the presentation of him. Despite the name change, with people being less than receptive of the name change at first, whereas he has been booked strongly. He's definitely been in one of the top stars in WWE. To the point where people pointed out his lack of finisher, but that's not really a bad thing. Gunther, or as people have noticed, doesn't really have a finisher, but he doesn't. That's because he doesn't really need it. His finisher is pretty much the last thing to put you away, whether that be the power bomb, whether that be the splash from the top rope, whether that be the sleeper, or whatever it is, pretty much beating you down until you don't get back up. But sometimes that is the finisher, and it is nice. It is definitely a nice change of pace. Don't get me wrong, finishers are great. Some finishers are iconic, but the fact that Gunther's finisher is essentially himself, the fact that he will finish you off, he can and will finish you off, I think is great. It fits into his character where it's not always a flashy move, or it's not just a determined move to guarantees it gets the job done. No, the finisher is whatever he says it is, and whatever will put his opponent away. Hey, so. Oh, and I just watched the video that Ryback uploaded to Twitter. No, it's not the Shrek one, but he did. But Ryback, surprisingly, or maybe not that surprisingly, I feel like we've been too mean to Ryback. But Ryback's been mean to our eyes at times. So I digress. But I think Ryback put it perfectly. It leads to unpredictability, especially with when it comes to finisher kickouts. There's not too many finishers that haven't been kicked out of that at this point in time. Like, for a while, the only finisher that really hadn't been kicked out of yet was the End of Days. But then that got kicked out of at WrestleMania 38. Hey, so not having that definitive finisher, and I have noticed and it takes one finisher to put someone away. Hey, a lot of people do complain about that, even though it's supposed to be a finisher. It's supposed to theoretically finish off your opponents, but sadly finishers, hers are more so they're more so just a decorative name, if that makes any sense, where it's not really something to finish off your opponents. Instead, it's just a major move that might finish them off, or just your main move that might finish them off, but not guaranteed. So, not having a guaranteed finisher from Gunther, even though Gunther usually does finish off at least with the power bomb and or the splash, but it's not really set in stone because he's finished people with the sleeper. He's finished people with he even finished Tommaso Ciampa with a chop. So. not having that definitive finisher. Instead, had pretty much that's his finisher is he's gonna punish you, he's gonna beat you down, and you're not gonna get back up. I think that is fantastic, and I think that is really solid. But that's not the only thing I want to talk about when it comes to Gunther. Or I want to ask the question that I'm sure a lot of people have been asking: who will it be to take the Intercontinental Championship away from Gunther? Or now the thing is and this is the great thing about mid card championships as opposed to like the World Championship is there are a myriad of people who could theoretically take the Intercontinental Championship away from Gunther. None of these are really going to be set in stone. Oh, and in fact, Gunther's road to WrestleMania is still somewhat unclear at this point in time, but there are quite a few names who potentially could do it. Brock Lesnar's officially out of the hat, and for obvious reasons, but a lot of people have said a variety of and that's the great thing about this championship reign, especially from Gunther, is that there's a lot of people that Gunther has beaten, but there's also a lot of people that Gunther could beat, but there's a lot of people also who could beat Gunther. So, just to name a few names, one of the names that people have floating around is Jey Uso. He's officially in his singles run. He's doing really well. He's gotten over with the crowd with the Yeet catchphrase. Is could Jey Uso finally capture singles gold and win the Intercontinental Championship? Some people speculate John Cena and or Sheamus is both got because both of them need the Intercontinental Championship to become Grand Slam championships. And for John Cena, that's haunted him for quite a bit longer than Sheamus. They've literally done everything else in the company except for winning the Intercontinental Championship and the Hall of Fame, of course. But both guys will definitely go in and at some point. But the only feather not in either of their caps is the Intercontinental Championship. So having one of those two, and I imagine for Sheamus, it'd probably be a bit more of formality. I'd argue Sheamus doesn't necessarily need the Intercontinental Championship. He's pretty much a made man at this point, and so is Cena. But it would be nice for him to have. And with John Cena, there is a chance that even if it's brief, we could get a revisit of the Open Challenge like he did for the United States Championship. But those are some names that float around. Some people have said Ilya Dragunov. Now, I don't necessarily know if Ilya Dragunov will take it from Gunther, but definitely at least have them face off, and it would tie well into the story. Ilya Dragunov being one of the only people to actually beat Gunther, or when Gunther was NXT UK champion, and Ilya Dragunov beat him for it at I believe it was Takeover 30. I believe it was Takeover 35, where Ilya Dragunov beat Gunther and finally took the NXT UK championship away from him. So Ilya Dragunov is a name people are saying, and some have even suggested Ludwig Kaiser, and they've at least teased at it with Ludwig Kaiser potentially leaving Imperium, potentially splitting up, even though they are definitely great together, he and Giovanni Vinci, but Ludwig Kaiser kind of getting that solo spotlight. I think Intercontinental Championship would definitely do well for him to finally break out of Gunther's shadow and finally stand on his own 2 feet. Some have said Chad Gable, which it's Chad Gable. The fact that Chad Gable has not had a singles championship in WWE yet is absolutely criminal. Chad Gable should have at least had a couple under his belt. No pun intended, of course, but Chad Gable definitely give that man a singles title as soon as possible. Well, hell, you can give him the U.S. title, although Chad Gable is on Raw, but sometimes the brands don't really mean too much anyway. But quite a few people who could take the Intercontinental Championship off of Gunther. So many and more. They have people who are kind of in that division. The Miz is obviously out because he lost to Gunther and lost the stipulation, and so Miz can no longer challenge for it while Gunther's champion. That was the stipulation put in place when Miz lost to Gunther at I believe it was Survivor Series where that stipulation was in place. And you have Then you have other guys like Ivar and Bronson Reed. Of course, Bronson Reed, the colossal Bronson Reed, of course. Whereas Ivar has kind of been going on his own since Eric is still out with an injury. So Ivar potentially taking the Intercontinental Championship from Gunther. So there are quite a few names who could theoretically take the Intercontinental Championship from Gunther. Or which direction would they go in? And I'm not sure, but it is cool that like all these guys definitely have a suitable case for taking the Intercontinental Championship off Gunther, and whoever does it, their stock will be highly elevated. Except for like, I'd say the only exceptions would be like Sheamus and John Cena, only because they're there, they've been there for a while. They're made. They're definitely made. But everyone else, I think, would benefit massively for it. It but who will be the one to do it? It only time will tell, and when will it happen? Only time will tell. But nevertheless, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this little discussion video. If you did, please do me a favor: like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends, turn on post notifications so you know every time I upload a video, so you can see as soon as it drops. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on everything I talked about in this video, whether it be CM Punk's injury, as I mentioned at the start, or Gunther, his finisher, or somewhat lack thereof, or the Intercontinental Championship situation. And who do you think could slash should beat Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship? But thank you all so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Peace.